comprehensive six weeks test review. So we're down to our final test for the 6 weeks, and this one's made up of all the stuff that was on the previous 2 tests, which had composition of functions and the matrices problems. So let's look at this first one. The first one is a composition of functions from tables and graphs, and we're told to evaluate h of g of 4. So to start off with, we need to find out we start with the inside. I need to know what g of 4 is. Well, g of 4 means I have to go to the table as the g, go to 4, and you get 15. So g of 4 is 15. So h of 15 will be our answer. So we go to 15, and that y value is negative 4. So h of 15 is negative 4. So h of g of 4 is negative 4. On number 2, we have a matrix, and we're just identifying the terms, and this problem should look familiar. It was the same that was in the notes on the section. When you're told to identify the terms, this is the row, this is the column. So row 2, column 3. So row 2, rows are horizontal, so here's row 2, column 1, 2, 3, so row 2, column 3 is pi. The term that's in row 1, column 3 is negative 4. And the term that's in row 2, column 1 is negative 1. And the term that's in row 3, column 2, well, there's not a row 3, so this one's not possible. Now, for number 3, we want h plus f, those functions, evaluated at negative 3. So that means I want f of negative 3 plus h of negative 3. Well, f is, if you go back and look, f is the first graph, so we go to negative 3 and get that y value, which is negative 4. H, this one's g, so I don't need g. H of negative 3 is negative 3. So it's negative 3 plus, or negative 4 plus negative 3, which is negative 7. Number 4. For this one, the first term in the top left of this first matrix has to equal the top left of the second matrix. So a plus 5 has to equal 7. Subtract 5 from both sides, minus 5 minus 5, you get a is 2. Then I look at this term, 2 has to equal b minus 5. 2 equals b minus 5. Add 5 to both sides, plus 5, so b is equal to 7. Then for the next term, 4c has to equal 4. So 4c equals 4, divide both sides by 4, and you get c is equal to 1. Now we go to the bottom row. Negative 10 has to equal 2d minus 6. Negative 10 equals 2d minus 6. So we add 6 to both sides. So negative 4 is equal to 2d. Divide by 2, divide by 2. You get d is equal to negative 2. The next one, the bottom middle and the bottom middle, 2e has to equal negative 6. 2e equals negative 6. Divide by 2, divide by 2. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. And the last one, we'll go with this color, 3f has to equal 1/2. 3f equals 1/2, so we have to divide by 3. Well, dividing by 3 is the same thing as multiplying by a third. So 1/3 times 1/2 is 1/6. So f was 1/6. On number 5, since these are the same size, we can add them, and all we do is add the top left to the top left. Negative 3 plus negative 5 is negative 8. And then we add the top right to the top right. Negative 2 plus negative 4 is negative 6. And then we're going to add the bottom left to the bottom left, which is 0 plus 3 is 3. And finally, the bottom right to the bottom right, 1 plus negative 2 is negative 1. And close our matrix. And we're done with number 5. Number 6 is just like what we did on number 4. So the top left has to equal the top left. 3a plus 4 has to equal negative 8. So we subtract 4 from both sides, and you get 3a is equal to negative 12. Divide by 3, divide by 3. Negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4. So a is negative 4. Now to get b, 2 has to equal b minus 5. 2 equals b minus 5. Add 5, add 5. B is 7. And then, well, next one, 0 equals 0. Don't worry about that one. Negative 10 has to equal 2h. Negative 10 has to equal 2h. Divide by 2, divide by 2. H is negative 5. And then the next one, 2k has to equal 1/2. 2k equals 1/2. Divide by 2, but that's the same thing as multiplying by 1/2, so it's easier to multiply fractions if I'm... So 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4. So k is 1/4. And our last one, 3y has to equal 6. 3y has to equal 6. Divide by 3, divide by 3. Y is equal to 2. And there is 1 through 6. Now let's move on to number 7. Number 7 says we want to take negative 4 times a. So let's do negative 4 times everything in the a. So that's going to be negative 4 times 0 is 0. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 3 is 12. There's the top row. Negative 4 times 3/2 is negative 2 times 3, which is negative 6. Or you could have said negative 12 divided by 2, you still get negative 6. And then negative 4 times 10 is 40. And negative 4 times 1/2 is negative 2. So that's the negative 4a. Then we also have to do 8b. So let's find out what 8b is. 8b is 8 times everything in the b matrix. So 8 times negative 5 is negative 40. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 1 is negative 8. There's the top row. 8 times a fourth, 8 times a fourth is 4 goes into 8 2 times 2 times 1 is 2. And then 8 times negative 3/4, 4 goes into 8 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. And then 8 times 2 is 16. And now to get our answer, we want to take and add these two together. So our final answer is going to be 0 plus negative 40, which is negative 40. Negative 4 plus 0 is negative 4. 12 plus negative 8 is 4. And we finish the top row, so we repeat with the bottom row. Negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4. 40 plus negative 6 is 34. And negative 2 plus 16 is 14. So we end up with the final matrix that's negative 40, negative 4, and 4 on top, negative 4, 34, and 14 on the bottom. And we're through with the front side. So moving on to the next page. Number 8 should look familiar. It's just taking and writing a matrix. Well, we have to write 3 matrices, and then we have to multiply and then add them all together. So on this one, they told us the chicken breast has 140 calories, 27 grams of protein, and 3 grams of fat. So chicken breast had 140 calories, 27 grams of protein, and 3 grams of fat. And we wanted to repeat that process to find the matrix B for broccoli. Well, broccoli, they tell us, has 50 calories, 5 grams of protein, and 1 gram of fat. And then milk has 150 calories, 8 grams of protein, and 8 grams of fat. And then we want to get 3 servings of chicken, so we need to find out what 3C is. 3C is 3 times everything in here. 3 times 140 is 420. 3 times 27 is 81. And 3 times 3 is 9. There's 3C. And then we need 3B also. Well, 3B is 3 times everything on this. 3 times 50 is 150. 3 times 5 is 15. And 3 times 1 is 3. and then 2 servings of milk. So 2m is going to be 2 times 150 is 300. 2 times 8 is 16, and 2 times 8 is 16. And then we're told to add all those up to see what we get. Well, 420 plus 150 is 570, plus 300 is 870. And then 81 and 15 is 96. 96 and 6 is 102, plus 10 is 112. And then 9 and 3 is 12, plus 16 is 28. And that's our total servings of calories, fat, or protein, and then fat. Now, number 9 says solve using a graphing calculator, or you can use a Desmos calculator, but the way we're talking about solving these is using matrices. So step 1, I'm going to write what this equation would be in matrix form. So I take just the coefficients, 7, -7, and 2. Then the next row, 9, 7, and 4. We're only looking at the left side for right now. And then 28, -28, and 8. And that's our A matrix. And then the variable matrix is x, y, z. And then it has to equal the other side. So the other side is 7, -7, and 5. So that's our A, x equals b is what we're dealing with. So to solve this, to get x, y, and z, we have to do A inverse b. A inverse b. Well, A inverse is just going to be all that stuff, 7, -7, and 2, with a -1 out here for a power, 9, 7, and 4, 28, -28, and 8. And then B is 7, -7, and 5. And if we do that on a calculator, which I happen to have one, which is not very full, I've got it too full of the screen, so let me try to fix that. So, not that big. So, and I need to... Oh, where'd it go? Come back here. Sorry about that. I should already had this ready. My apologies. Okay, home. Let's start with a brand new one here. And we go on the calculator, you go to matrix. If you're using Desmos, you have to search for, or do desmos.com/matrix. But we go to matrix, create a matrix. And it was a 3 by 3 because it had 3 rows and 3 columns. And our coefficients, let me look at my paper, are 7, -7, and 2. And the next row is 9, 7, and 4. And then the bottom row was 28, -28, and 8. And then we do inverse, which means raise to a -1 power. And then we have to go get out of the power and then bring another matrix in. So our B matrix. Create matrix. And this one's 3 columns, 3 rows, but only 1 column. And it was the solution side, which was 7, -7, and 5. And when we hit A inverse B, it says error singular matrix. Singular matrix means this has no solution. So this one is a no solution. Okay. Well, now we're going to do the same thing on this one, but this time, look what we have here. X and Y, this is the number. That should be on the other side. So instead of -3, I'm going to add 3 to both sides and make it equal to 3. So we end up with square root of 2x plus square root of 7y equals 3. And this one's square root of 3x minus y equals, if I add that to the other side, I get a positive square root of 6. So that tells me my A matrix is square root of 2, square root of 7, square root of 3, and -1 when it just says -y. A inverse and B are these two, now that they're on the right side, 3 and square root of 6. So that's what we're going to type in on our calculator, or Desmos, so same thing. So matrix, menu, matrix, create a matrix, and this one's 2 rows and 2 columns. And the coefficients were all square roots, so control x squared, square root of 2. Oops. And then the next one is square root of 7. And then we had square root of 3. And then we had -1. And so arrow out of there, raised to the -1 power. And menu, matrix, create a matrix that is 2 rows and only 1 column, and it's the solutions that were on the other side, which were 3 and square root of 6. 3 on the first one, square root of 6 on the second one. And you get 1.581 for x. So x equals 1.581 and y equals 0.289. 0.289, and there's your x and y. Okay, let's look at another composition review question. So, composition on this next one. What do we got going on here? Let me clear this off. So we want to take g and put f inside of it. So here's g, so 4x squared, but instead of x there, we're going to stick f, which is 6 over x. So 6 over x goes here. So that is equal to 4 times, well, if I do 6 times 6 is 36, and x times x is x squared. And to multiply those, 4 times 36, you just multiply the numerators. 4 times 36 is 144, and then it's all over x squared. And that's all you have to do on that one. On the next one, we just want to write a matrix. And it's that same ice cream problem that I didn't get creative and change on it, so I left them the same here. So it says we have a 3 by 3 matrix that has the locations representing the rows. So location 1 will be the first row, location 2 will be the second row, and location 3 will be the third row. And our columns are the types of ice cream: soft serve, chunky, and non-fat. So soft serve is going to be the first column, chunky is the second column, and non-fat's the third column. So let's look at what they said. Location 1 sells 11 grams of soft serve. So that's let's use a different color so you can kind of see these a little better. We'll go 11 for the first one, 100 of chunky, 100 gallons of chunky, and 30 grams of non-fat. Chunky is pretty popular. Now, it says location 2 sells 25 grams of soft serve. That's 25. And location 3 sells 60 grams of soft serve. Then they tell us daily sales of chunky are 90 at location 2 and 120 at location 3. And finally, location 2 has 21 for non-fat and 40 for non-fat at location 3. And that's all you have to do. Okay, moving on to number 13. We're going to take g and put f at -1 inside of it. So we have to figure out let's find out what f of -1 is. So f of -1 means go to f and plug in -1, which is -1 plus 5 divided by -1. Every x becomes -1. Well, -1 plus 5 is 4. 4 divided by -1 is -4. So we have to, f of -1 is -4. So this just becomes -4. So we want g with a -4 plugged in inside of it. So g with a -4 inside of it is g squared minus 9. And -4 squared is -4 times -4, which is 16. 16 minus 9 is 7. And that's number 13. Number 14, we're going to do g with f of 10. So g with f of 10 on the inside. So let's find out what f of 10 is. F of 10 means go to f and put a 10 for every x. So 10 minus 10 all over 10. Well, 10 minus 10 is 0. 0 divided by any other number is 0. So this is just the same thing as saying what's g with 0 plugged in. And g of 0 is 3 times 0 plus 5, which is 0 plus 5, which is just 5. And number 15. For number 15, we want f with g inside of it. So f is 3x plus 8. So 3x plus 8. But instead of x, we're putting g, which is, so I'm just going to write a g to show you what we're doing. G, so that is going to be 3 times whatever. Let's replace g with what it's equal to. G is 2x minus 9. 2x minus 9. So now I've got 3 times 2x, which is 6x. And 3 times a negative 9 is a negative 27. And there's still a plus 8. So look for like terms. Negative 27 plus 8 is negative 19. And 6x minus 19 is our composition function. And finally, we have an h of x that is made up of an outer function with an inner function inside of it. Well, f is when you see f of g of x, f is the outer function, with the outer function, which is something to the 7th power. Ooh, didn't mean to leave a trail there. And we use an x, so it's just x to the 7th. The inner function, g, is the stuff that we put inside. And the stuff that we put on the inside is 2x squared minus 5x plus 1. So there's our inner function. And there is our outer function, and that's all we had to find on this one. If you can do all that, you have mastered this unit, and you should have a passing grade for the 6 weeks if you do well on this test. Good luck to you.